Right, greetings everyone. I am of course Director ARKETER of ARKETER Labs, and welcome to the Saturday guest stream, all you fans of myself and or Direwolf Media in general. This time for my guest I have one bad-tempered badger. I have that right?
Good evening, and yes, that is indeed correct.
Okay. Well, I didn't want to get it wrong. It seemed pretty easy, bad-tempered badger, but, you know, every once in a while, possible to slip up a bit.
I was on a chat a while ago where somebody set the title to refer to me as bad-tempered banger. That was amusing.
But
Ms.
either
Ms. Steam has
flattering...
donated. Ms. Steam has donated 3 lemons, saying, "Go suck a citrus grenade, you waste of adulpated youth."
Your donations are on an objective basis appreciated.
Outstanding.
As has been called a
Ray has
bad-tempered
donated-
banger is potentially flattering, and by American interpretation implies that you get around. Although I think by English standards it implies you're some kind of sausage, doesn't it?
Yes, the banger thing does generally refer to a sausage, especially when referred to in bangers and mash.
Yes. How did that happen anyway? Did someone just start slapping around sausages one day and somehow that stuck for a sausage name? You know?
No, it's because I believe particular kinds of sausages, if you cook them too long, tend to explode.
Oh. Now I'm familiar with sausages bursting open, but I didn't know. Hey, that implies they've been stuck for something a bit other than just, bits of meat.
I have actually heard some sausages go bang. They were the cheaper variety in the more plasticky tubes.
Gray has donated 4 lemons and has said, "What in buttery blistered bullocks have you pulled up on your Twitter there?"
Oh, Gray, you are in for a treat. We're all about to get very familiar with the Pacific geoduck. And apparently, its horrifying edibility. But first, bad-tempered badger, we need to go through the formalities first.
Yes,
How
hello.
long have you been... You are, as I understood it, yes, a YouTuber. Is that correct?
That is one of my many, one of the many things that people do charge me with being, yes.
Is it accurate?
Yeah, I would, I think I'll admit to it, yes.
Okay, among other things, I'm sure. Roman has done what little I don't even pay them for, then all your promotional links should have been put out in the chat. Clearly you don't limit yourself to YouTube, which is of course a fantastic, I think, important to do, especially in the modern climate. Why don't you tell us a bit, how long have you been in the YouTube video making and or streaming game?
Well, I've been sort of doing talky things on the YouTubes for a little while now, a couple of years at this point. I'd say approaching around 2, although now I think about it, I would actually need to check the exact date I started. But I've been doing it a little while, and gradually, I'd like to think, getting better at it as I go.
So you've been at it roughly as long as I have. Well, being the Gog of Morskar. We'll get into here. Those of you who are familiar with me and what I've been up to lately, of course, do know what and the toll it's taking.
Oh, dearie me. Oh,
Right, so you've been at this
Miss Steam says, I looks like a dick and vag simultaneously."
I'm guessing that refers to the
Pacific geoduck. screen
on
here.
the screen
Well,
there.
She says I. She says that it. She corrects it to it afterwards, but
Ah.
she says
A bit late.
I.
A bit late. Look, Steam,
I see.
I can only agree. But back to you, Bad Tempered Badger. As my guest, the focus
Yes.
should be on you, not Steam and their declarations of genital resemblance. So, you've been at
Various
this YouTube thing.
chat-related antics.
Yes. You've been at this YouTube thing for 2 years now. Or somewhere around there.
Somewhere around that, yes.
You seem to be doing reasonably. Yeah. You certainly have a very active chat when you stream. I learned that when
well.
I was your guest not too long ago at all.
Oh, well, thank you very much.
I think if you keep with it, you'll do. And how long have you been making CanCon videos versus showing up on streams? Has it always been roughly the same, or is one of these a new trick for you?
Right, well, if you'll give me 1 second. Yes, it's 2 years ago, roughly, that I made my first video, and I started off... I've just scrolled back in my list there. I started off doing entirely pre-prepared, pre-recorded content. And the first few, the quality of which I'm not very happy with, but they got better as I went on.
Oh yes, well, no one starts off making, gold quality videos, and then, well, hopefully they'll get worse over time. I mean, if someone starts off with fantastic videos, and then by the time they're 2 years in, it's just 10 to 40 minutes of a video of just steaming garbage, then something's gone horribly wrong.
Well, I started off doing only pre-prepared, pre-recorded stuff, and in recent, I think in the last year or so, I started doing live streams. I started off saying I would only do pre-recorded stuff because I tend, as you may have noticed, I tend to stammer a little bit when I'm talking unprepared. But then I did a live stream, and it went quite well. So I thought, oh, well, why not give this a try? And I've been doing that for a little while since then. So yeah, that's the story of that.
Indeed.
By the way, I don't suppose you could furnish me with a link to the chat, because I can't seem to find it now I'm looking for it.
I will DM it to you. There's
Excellent.
actually 4 different chats, but
Yes,
the main one is...
which one do you want, Better Badger? Do you got, let's see, Direwolf Media, Direwolf Radio, Direwolf D Live, ARKETER D Live, and quite possibly Director ARKETER Live on YouTube as well.
Whichever one you think would be most beneficial for me to be able to see.
I sent it to you on Discord, and I put it in the Hangouts.
As chat manager,
Right.
Froman is probably the best one to make that disclosure here. After all, he's the one responsible for conveying any messages in chat that he feels are important for me to hear. Not that he necessarily does so much as whatever he thinks will cause me to cringe hardest.
I see.
By the way,
Gray
Gray,
concurs
thank you
with-
for your support via Lemons as well. I want to note. Putting
He
Lemons
donated
to
an additional 4, by the way.
Ooh.
Thank you for your 4 D Live Lemons. Additionally, Gray.
And he also concurs with me, ArkSD Live is best.
Right, I think that's the one I'm now opening.
Yes, and quite frankly, if you're keen on diversifying, I might recommend D Live as well, especially if you employ free stream. But that's your call, and certainly it can be tricky to multiple chats.
I can just about manage all the various social medias I find myself on.
I need to pay much more attention to my mind. That thing has been idling since probably late last year. I'm really bad at this, if I'm being quite honest. I'm learning as I go, of course, and
There we go.
certainly I seem to have
One of the
locked in
chats.
some pretty big gigs, but talent for the whole community management. Quite honest. In any case, back to the whole pseudo interview thingy. So, you've been at this for 2 years so far. Do you have any highlights of your video career at this point? Any...
I do, actually.
Oh, please do share.
Let me tell you a little story of, as anyone who's visited my channel has probably noticed, one of my many talky subjects is the whole online atheist agnostic opposition to religious silliness section of my channel. I've collaborated with a few fabulous people in that regard, one of them being Not Your Witness, who collaborations with him I've done several, and I'm very pleased with them. But one particular video that I'm very proud of in that area is a video entitled Noah's Ark Makes No Sense, in which I go into great, possibly too much detail.
We're not noticing. If you are, don't worry, it's already over.
Yeah, so how's... what else have I got on here?
Yes, that does seem the...
go on.
Story that does seem rather... Two pairs alone of anything is not genetically viable, so... Do need something else going on there for that to work out.
So that's my sort of probably proudest video, is my Noah's Ark related one, but another one that I have recently done would be my SCP related content.
Well, certainly it approaches a wider opening without getting into contentious topic. No one believes the SCPs are real. Not they should. It's clearly all made up. Besides, we all have bigger things to worry about in the real world, like Florida. What is wrong with it?
Well, all I know about Florida is that we should visit the Florida Keys. I hear they're lovely this time of year.
Oh, well, then you clearly haven't been paying attention. Although it's really not necessarily clear if there really is a problem with Florida, or if it's illusory in nature. It could be that the U.S. media or the global media as a whole has some sort of grudge against Florida, and that they just, promote all the most absurd articles they can find about Florida specifically, while not necessarily amplifying the rest. But oh boy, the articles that do come from Florida just seem so very exceptional when it comes to general insanity. I actually have a question regarding you, where you are, and something behind you. It's been bothering me for some time. I can't even fully explain why, but what is the green drippy stuff behind you?
Oh, that would be supposedly a lava lamp, though I suspect it may actually be some kind of spatial anomaly.
I'm leaning towards spatial anomaly personally, and that sounds actually...
Yeah, it was sold to me as a lava lamp, but I suspect it has other properties, as it seems to affect the electrical energy levels of this room.
Let's see. Presumably if it was severely radioactive, you would be dead by now, but if not, if it's just mildly radioactive and slowly loading up with just a surprise buttload of cancer in the near future, you might, just to be safe, want to run a Geiger counter.
Well, you see, unfortunately, a Geiger counter is rather more expensive than the object itself.
I hear you. At the same time, so is cancer.
That is also true, although you mentioned a question of where I was. My preferred homeland does come with an NHS.
Well, good luck with it being quality.
Quality.
Yes, that's about what I... Okay, let's see, where should I go from... you've done...
So,
yes,
we've accused that in chat we've accused Steam of being a trap. She says that we cannot prove it.
That's
Izub
true,
said
we can't,
that
and
we
she
cannot,
can't prove it's a lie.
Izub said that we can't pat. Can we pat for science? She said no, and I responded with only Ark can pat for science.
This is not something I would object to. If
You
if
would
it
all
were to turn
die
out
in
to be true.
ignorance. I will not pat Steam down in the crotch area. You cannot raise enough money to make this happen.
For science.
I'm
Well,
sorry.
if-
Science doesn't need to know.
If an impartial observer is required, I am willing to volunteer.
Look, hey, look, I believe you're both in the kingdom of Uck, as we might say on SideQuest. So, Steam, hey, maybe... How do you feel about Badger, Steam? Maybe we can make a love connection here.
Can you feel the love tonight?
So, I
Probably not,
like
but it's
to
worth a try.
ingratiate myself with a new host by saying something terribly awful.
As
So,
per
look,
usual.
as you can see, given the company I keep, my skin is like quite thick, so, you know, I feel... But, you know, as far as I'm aware, Steam is available.
We
Given their
have
low
in-
opinion of Whitney Houston, they might not be keen on Badgers technically, but, well, you know, love may find a way.
Well, you never know.
And they are in a version of your country.
Interesting. That is very interesting indeed.
Indeed, it is. Oh, let's see. SCP content. How long have you been... Did you start off doing videos? That's where I got my start. Most of my initial canned content was SCP files, and I plan on getting back to it. In fact, I just recently constructed a set solely for the purpose of presenting SCP files, and since I can't seem to keep up with canned content, we'll start doing them live here on out from probably this
Live.
Thursday on. I will start off with one video on one stream, one file I've already chosen, and then those in the chat let me choose the second before I have to shut things down. You know, because they might various other...
Well, my involvement with SCP-related content has been quite recent in terms of my video output. I've done 2 SCP-related videos so far, which would be a dramatic reading of... Where is it? There it is. A dramatic reading of the Woodvale incident, and a tale of Lord Blackwood and the Great Jurassic Hunt of '83, and that's the one that I've most recently done. I have more Lord Blackwood related tales coming up, I think.
Well, I certainly encourage you to go with it. I will always and forevermore have a soft spot for the SCP Foundation. I was concerned about it for a while there. Surprisingly preoccupied with things that don't seem worth consideration dealing with world-ending threats, but seem to have demonstrated sort of return to form since. And I like to think that the overall quality... I still am absolutely flabbergasted by how much the list of things provides knowledge of the Foundation. Dr. Bryce is a very busy man, woman, other.
Miss Steam has said, "Stop setting me up with people. You're still doing the live stream." You know, that this only means that she wants you to set her up with people off of the live stream. On the live stream, no, but off, yes.
I said nothing about doing a live stream. Although, Temper Badger, if you would like
No.
to start a show with Miss Team, I'm fine the time.
No, as in stop trying to set her up with people while you're live streaming.
Hmm.
I think it's well worth it. Bye.
Well, you know, the way that she wrote it, it's okay if you do it off of the live stream, just not on.
Hmm.
Very well. When I was, I guess, on your stream, Temper Badger asked me which are my favorite SCP files, and at the time I wasn't able to articulate it properly, but
Oh, yes.
are you familiar with SCP-1230?
Is that so? Which one do you refer to?
SCP-120 is one of my favorites, and it's the one I intend first when I start covering these files live.
SCP-1230. That would be.
Well, the very short summary of it is a book.
Ah.
Although it has a very short amount in it, technically speaking, results in dreams that are effectively adventure novels, fantasy.
Oh, fabulous.
It's an extraordinary SCP I wish could be replicated, because I would think that if you worked for the Foundation, having access to SCP-1230 is probably one of the single greatest perks one could hope for in otherwise enduring the Foundation service. So if you aren't familiar with that one, I'm glad to have introduced you to it. But we are
I
approaching...
shall have to read it in its entirety later.
Well, I highly recommend it. But we are approaching the halfway point in this, and I don't seem to have... Actually, do you have any questions for me, Temper Badger? You've been itching at your mind since we've been introduced to...
Well, I've been going through some of your catalogue, as it were, and I've been wondering what exactly is the ongoing theme, if there is one.
Well, let's... Speaking of a theme of mine, I've been approaching things from awkward angles. Namely, I've been looking at a lot of the justice, noting that, strictly speaking, half of them qualify as the plans of an evil genius to do some stuff that one would consider quite shitty. Like, for instance, eugenics. Temper Badger, how do you feel about eugenics?
Eugenics. I'm personally not hugely keen on eugenics.
Neither am I, largely from the argument that, strictly speaking, humanity doesn't know what it's doing, so trying to take a conscious hand in steering genetic futures is a terrible idea overall. But I've noticed that there are a lot of things taking place right now that could, if viewed from a eugenics positive viewpoint, be basically evil schemes to convince people to effectively sterilize themselves. For instance, you may have heard that there's a surprising amount of autistic individuals in schools who've been convinced that they are trans. And this strikes me as suspicious, because if you properly transition, then this generally results in being, how shall we say, reproductively non-viable. So if you managed to convince a bunch of autistic people that they were trans, you would effectively convince themselves to support a eugenics positive view of the future without them in it.
That would effectively remove that particular group from the gene pool, as it were.
Indeed.
I think that's what you're getting at.
Yes, so this is the way I tend to view things, from the perspective of, what if some evil genius bastard out there were to use the trendy topics of today to accomplish the very opposite of what they supposedly endorse, like with the series on how to destroy your enemies their own applause 1 and 2 regarding racism and cat acceptance, and I've been choking on part 3 ever since, which is the incredibly thorny topic of feminism, because it seems to me that if you really hate 50% of the population on the basis of the parents of their birth, then there's at least one all too seriously taken federation of feminism out there that would be right up your alley.
Well, my view on a lot of these things is that they do seem to be rather counterproductive. For example, the whole what's the word for it? The term that I've heard used quite frequently would be the oppression Olympics. I'm sure you've heard the term.
Yeah. A key feature of...
Now, that whole thing, specifically the idea of protected classes, in quotes. Now, I am something of an advocate of freedom of speech and freedom of expression. And I've found that if you want to ostracize a group from society, a very good way to do that is to make it impossible to joke about them. Because suddenly, no one wants to be around that group, because that group is seen as so sensitive and reactionary that they can't even be joked about. Therefore, people will avoid any contact with them so as not to be labeled a bigot.
I'm absolutely on the same page here. That's well observed. And it's not just that. There's a thin line between the taboo and the sacred. This is something I think Germany probably should appreciate a bit better. They're not allowed to shoot Nazis. You can't shoot Nazis in Wolfenstein in Germany. You can't have Nazis in your game, even to shoot them in Germany. And this has the curious side effect of making the Nazis a protected class as well, which empowers them, if anything.
It does rather make them a protected class, doesn't it?
Isn't that strange? It's funny how he's used to really overshoot the goal and cycle back round to it from the other angle, isn't it?
How very odd indeed.
Yes, and I still wonder about the LGBTQ. And you ask, the acronym goes on so much longer, it's beyond keeping up with. The media's like Pink News and such. Who thought, really, first off, that the Babadook was a great mascot, and two, that It, from Stephen King's It, was ever a great idea as a mascot, and who thought that, oh no, we can't use it as a mascot because it doesn't just kill straight men, women, and children, it also killed some gay people too.
Well, I think the objection may not have been that it killed a gay person. I think the objection may have been that it brought up gayness as something that someone was insecure about, and therefore a way to get at that person.
Yes, but that's the entire purpose of it. It's all about playing on fears and feeding off of them, and of course the people too. The very concept of trying to make a otherworldly horror your mascot just seems a bit misguided best. And it seems like they've already gotten into their heads that they need to replace their murder clown shaped void in their world with the Joker.
Well, if their requirements for a clown... Ooh?
Killing Joke says, "What the fuck is that?" replying to the mollusk.
Oh. Well, let's wrap up this conversation, and then I suppose we can go ahead and do horrified.
I was just going to say, if a very reactionary clown as the example of the representative, there is one I can think of who I won't name directly, but I have had negative interactions with in the past.
I haven't had very many positive interactions.
Oh, I wouldn't refer to this person as a clown in terms of the actual profession or the stereotypical attributes of a clown. It's just a knobhead with a painted face.
James Charles comes. Anyhow, I suppose we should move on. The Killing Joke. Killing Joker. Or as those of you who watch Side Quest are familiar with, my co-host on Sundays, the Killing Jester, has, along with others, asked, what the hell is that on my monitor? Well, you asked for it.
Oh dear.
今天精神状态不太好啊，烟头大脑。
YouTube responded with, it steams Vagedic.
这辣椒面刺激一下。
Oh my.
哎呦，
Just a moment.
Okay.
大家参观一下。
Okay, that's not better.
The Killing Joke responds with, no!
这个东西煲汤，大补。
So apparently this is a Pacific geoduck, as someone has informed me on Twitter. It is
Okay.
a type of mollusk, and apparently it was not nearly as dead as one should expect one to be before being eaten. However, this has not stopped this Asian individual, not Asian in general, because their dietary habits at this point seem to be just sheer nightmare fuel, and certainly that was a prime example.
Yes.
I didn't know
I
that
haven't.
the dick clam was a real creature before now, and I certainly didn't know that it was edible, and I still wish I didn't know.
Yeah, well, I have certainly noticed a liking for eating living things among the more Asian populations, shall we say.
The Killing Joke says you will pay Slappy, mark my words.
You asked for it, Killing Joker.
It's something that I've definitely seen. It's one thing that disturbs me a little is the eating of live octopi.
Yes, that would disturb me as well, because those things are shocking.
Yeah, if I was to be presented with one as a potential meal, I would definitely wish to pull out a knife and put it through the creature's brain before consuming it.
It would seem good, yes. I know that at least one Asian streamer got into some trouble not too long ago for attempting one live, only it wasn't having it. And latched onto their face quite spectacularly and caused them some damage as they pulled it back off. But if anyone should be really angry about eating octopi live on YouTube, it probably should be a Megon, just, so ideas. You know who Megon is, by chance?
I have come across a Megon before, yes, indeed. I am a frequent watcher of a Megon's opinion pieces, and often find myself in agreement, though not always.
Oh, yes. He's a very interesting fellow. I had him on.
Oh!
Sometime. I should find some make for him last time. He made his bobblehead.
Well, I'd certainly like to have a discussion with him if that was ever an option.
Strictly speaking, he's a very approachable fellow. If you probably don't be too shy. A cool dude.
I did have a chat with someone who I believe to be a sometimes associate of his, actually, which would be a chap called Trups.
Raps.
Trups with a U.
Raps. I'm afraid I'm not familiar with him personally.
No, I believe they may have spoken at least once before.
They're clearly not in my.
No. There was a discussion on a somewhat sensitive topic. the
Well-
discussion I had with this chap.
No need to go into detail. This is Obama free street. Keep things relaxed here. Don't want to get too personal. Don't want
Well,
to
I could
poke any
mention the
nerves.
title of the topic.
I'm sorry, what?
I could mention the title of the topic if you would like me to.
Okay, well, before I do, I'm going to ask you a question. Is it more
yes.
or less disturbing than the dick clam we just saw get eaten live after being slapped around?
It's potentially more disturbing because it involves humans.
I can't endorse cannibalism on this show. I unfortunately stood against it.
It's not the eating of humans, though, so also
Oh, well, okay,
potentially
then
less
that should be
disturbing.
better in context. Look, go ahead, spit it out.
I had a discussion with this particular individual on the topic of abortion.
It's a hot button topic. Also,
It is
something that's a
indeed.
bit dark, and I don't. Look, it's a sticky wicket.
I'd rather not go into any more detail if you don't mind.
It's a mess. The topic is just terrible. It's not simple, and that's what
No,
everyone
no,
continues
it
to
isn't.
refuse. You can't wholesale deny it. You can't wholesale endorse it, and there's always some idiot in any given faction who wants to do one of the two.
Right.
Well, we can get an argument about it, but go down that very dark alley. After all, no matter how you go about it, it is technically about, well, that's a continuing topic as well. I suffice to say that at some point you are dealing with Babby, but only after a certain point that has not been, but sure as hell is before birth. I mean,
Yes.
the people
Free
who try to
will
say
fight
they're out of their goddamn minds. That's, you have the physically viable Babby there, and then geographical location is inside versus outside. It's the same thing either way.
Yes, at that point, it's I would agree rather too late.
Yes, that people pushing for that being just a termination of some cells pissed me off, but we'll go to something a bit lighter hearted, like
Yes, please do.
the U.S. Navy just confirmed these UFO videos are the real deal. Have you seen this, that type of Patrick?
I haven't, other than briefly as the headlines flashed past just now.
Ah, well, we've got some video here that we can all watch. Apparently, the Navy has confirmed that these videos are legit. No special effects, no...
Oh my.
Now, unless CNN has decided to just piss away its credibility wholesale, it would seem that it and the Navy have absolutely confirmed that these are legit. Mind you, this doesn't necessarily mean that we're looking at aliens here. It could just be
No.
drones, could be a number of things. In fact, that's what UFO means, unidentified flying object. But it's,
I was going to mention they haven't confirmed very much actually there. What they have confirmed is that, well, they haven't necessarily confirmed it. What they say is that they don't know what it
I mean,
is.
I've seen
Yes,
and I've read
that is
and
correct.
I've heard.
They
and
just
I
confirmed
did
that
have
I think
a
you guys-
reading on it, but people are
real.
saying they're seeing UFOs. Do I believe
I think
it?
you guys are just trying to cover up the lizard people. Speak the truth.
Well, I think
I've been accused of being a lizard person,
our
you know.
great pilots would know.
It's unfair.
I mean, you-
it wasn't a
see
I'm not a
things that are
lizard
a little bit
person.
different than in
Yes,
the
I
past,
did
so we're gonna
use
see.
a stand-in that went very poorly, but
You are gray. There's a difference.
Well,
yes,
as
objectively, but that's besides the point.
as a representative of the genus Mustelidae, lizards and I do not tend to get on as my.
No, CNN. I don't care what the View has to say about absolutely anything whatsoever.
It's true.
Yes, well, my species tend to eat lizards, so I don't get on well with the lizard people.
CNN has the most garbage site imaginable. Horrible.
Yep, it is. It really is.
I mean, I have to use a specialized browser just to access it without it basically behaving like a virus, trying to seize control of the entire goddamn console. Mission's hypothetical goddamn. Anyhow, CNN, the U.S. Navy has finally launched footage reported to show UFOs hurtling through the air, and while officials say they don't know what the objects are, they're not indulging any hints either. The objects seen in 3 clips of classified military footage are unidentified aerial phenomena, which is a very strange way to reach around and avoid saying UFO when it's the precise same damn thing. Navy spokesperson Joe Gradisher confirmed to CNN. The clips released will be separate between. There we go. The objects seen in 3 clips of declassified military footage are unidentified phenomena. The clips released between December 2017 and March 2018 by To the Stars Academy of Arts and Scientists appear to show fast-moving oblong objects captured by advanced infrared sensors. Footage from 2004. Sensors lock on a target as it flies before it accelerates out the left side of the frame to quickly locate it.
Okay, so they've finally confirmed that they don't know exactly what is in a video from 2004. All right.
You know, I wonder if there's like some sort of expert that just like stares at it for hours and just says, "Well, I don't know what it is."
I'm pretty sure there are several experts who've been sat down in front of a video of these things and asked, "What the hell is that?" and have to reply,
You get a gathering of lab coats together, plop them in front of the video, and they go, "Ah," and then you release it to the public as an unidentified flying object.
Yeah.
Hold on, I need to confirm my colleagues. Yeah, we have no goddamn idea. It's just.
Well, it's a UFO then, which to the outside world means aliens.
Nerdy Rodent said the experts have confirmed they don't know.
Oh, it's not UFO. It's unidentified aerial phenomena. It's UAP, not UFO. It's entirely different.
Well. In that case, it's definitely aliens. I mean, not aliens.
I don't know, but I do have a question on this point because it seems to me that, I don't know, in the last 10 years or so, the governments themselves seem to be sort of hinting at something they want to tell us, but haven't been quite so bold as come out with it. And they're going about it in very surreptitious ways. I mean, Podesta, the manager for Hillary Clinton's failed campaign, hinted that if Hillary was elected, then they would totally reveal the existence of aliens. And then once Trump was elected, we got Space Force, which I support wholesale because I will back absolutely anything that helps get us off this rock any sooner.
I rather liked all the imagery for the Trump Space Force idea because a lot of the promotional things just seem to be clips from the Stargate series.
Yes, anything that gets it closer to that is good, although not Stargates. I want. We need spaceships. We need spaceships now. I want off-world colonies in the next few decades, if at all possible. If not, but fingers crossed. I was just saying, if you're concerned about climate change and whatnot, even if you're not, you should want a portion of humanity off-planet just in case we really screwed up here. There's a backup.
I definitely agree with off-world colonies because I would like to offload a large portion of humanity from the planet.
Miss Team wants you to say Space Force again.
Who wants me to say Space Force?
Miss Team.
Oh, in that case, no.
What if I want you to, Daddy?
In that case, hell no.
And there's the answer I was looking for.
So,
In fact,
Space Force.
I don't understand with that phrase. I've erased that phrase from memory. I will not probably say that ever again. That's been deleted from my vocabulary. I hope you're happy.
Right then. Well, a semi-military operation operating extraterrestrially. What would be your thoughts on funding for that?
Funding? fund well. I don't really care. Look, I'm pretty sure they can manage it. U.S. spends just a hideous crap ton on military endeavors in general. If some of that is going towards extraterrestrial endeavors, then that's just great. I'm pretty sure they could free up the funds for it just by doing a cost-benefit analysis on pretty much anything they've ever done ever. I don't know if you recall this, but not too long ago, the military realized that it had somehow misplaced, is it $3 to $6 billion or so? In any case, I suspect they could find the funds without even having to consider touching tax.
Well, then you know all that money that is just waste. You know, the U.S. has lost just about as much money as we are in debt, and I'm talking like total debt with all that like interest and promises that we said we would do. Like it ends up being about 80 to 100 trillion. We could just pay that off with the money that we've lost.
It
Well-
should be nice if some effort was made to find that. Do useful things with it.
It's probably in Hillary's email server.
Yeah,
It's
probably.
quite possibly. We might have found relevant emails in the ones that she took a hammer to.
Though technically those emails we can access at any time. It's just we don't choose to.
Okay, I reckon somebody's taken that money and invested it in Dogecoin.
Well, cryptocurrencies are the future. Unless, of course, you're LibraCoin, in which case, screw you. LibraCoin is insane, and I will do nothing but sneer most derisively at anyone who invests in Facebook coin. Because the last thing we want is Facebook acting as a bank. I mean, the bank
I
sector
agree with
banks
that.
are quite bad enough.
The issue, of course, for me, I have no knowledge whatsoever of the government being terribly in debt. Being from England, you see, we've had this whole austerity thing for the last several years, which means that there is no debt anywhere whatsoever at all. It's not that we're even more in debt as a country than we were before. No. It's vastly improved.
Steam now is saying don't say Space Force.
Too late, Steam. I'm not going to fall for your reverse psychology now. If you're going to use reverse psychology, Steam, you have to start with reverse psychology. Just noting. I shouldn't be giving you... What am I thinking of? Terrible. Right.
Don't
so,
worry, I've already thought about it. I'll adjust things later for her.
So, how do you feel about the Navy's confirmation videos of UFOs? And they are UFOs, but they are flying objects that are unidentified. What does this mean to you?
Oh, I think it means that the world will soon be overtaken by the Greys.
Really?
Ark is going to take over the
far
world?
smarter than that.
Well, if it's been confirmed by the U.S. military that they're definitely unidentified, then that can only mean one thing: invasion.
See, I doubt it. See, I think that any species that's intelligent enough to travel across dimensions or the infinite void of space to pay us a visit probably knows better than to have anything with us directly. So I suspect these are observers, because if they were inclined to interact, they probably would have purged us already. They've had plenty of time to do so. No,
One can only hope.
well, I don't. I like to think that if we do have interaction with them, they will be positive, because I happily have the Earth join a greater international community. That said, I don't think if they are here, they want that at all, because they've probably been paying attention to what's going on and are probably more in a safari mode. You know, look, point, laugh, maybe take some nice pictures, probe a few anuses, but do not interact with the savage animals on the surface.
Yeah, they're probably
I-
watching the silly monkey species throw shit at each other.
Yes.
I have told many people that this is the reason why, like, who are being dumb. This is the reason why aliens don't visit us. It's because of you.
I would not be surprised to learn that, strictly speaking, Earth is the greatest reality TV hit in the galaxy.
I think if other advanced civilizations are aware of humanity, I think that would probably be what humanity would be used as.
Yes.
Some would be, you know, kind of like your comedy show of look at these idiots, and some of it would be, you know, your self-help. Just kind of, well, your intergalactic banking clan may have gone down the tubes, but at least you're not human.
You know,
Yes.
it's like Dr. Phil is like a galaxy-wide show now.
Yes. We'll finally make contact with alien species and they worship Dr. Phil as a god.
I mean, I wouldn't blame them, let's be honest. We're sending you to the ranch. Which is its own...
There are worse
Which is its own-
possibilities. There are worse possibilities. We are in the final 9 minutes, which is not enough time to cover the remaining articles if you're going to, so, Bad Tablet Badger, I would ask you to... You want to read about Justin Trudeau, the Canadian PM who talks sorry for 2001 brown-face Pisher, a pigeon article, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Paul Rubin picks up injured bobcat, puts it in car next to her child.
Mm-hmm.
How Google have helped solve the mystery of decades-old disappearance, but that's Washington Post, Democracy Dies in Darkness, which for the longest time I've been quite certain is not so much a warning as a vow of it. Deputies, couple had sex in patrol car after arrested in Florida, a notorious panhandler spotted in West Phoenix. I am, of course, a huge fan of the pigeon articles myself, but you are my guest, and I feel
Well. Let's go for the pigeon. I think we have to go for the pigeon at this point.
Well, and this is a trendy topic. I mean, the Canada Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is in trouble for this right now after someone found a photo of him in 2001. Yes, this photo, no less, of him in brown face.
In brown face, oh dear.
They call it brown face. Not blackface, it's brown face. So much better, you know.
Yes, absolutely.
Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau come under attack after one picture way in Snap for 2001 or one private school party via Imbin Day Teach Land Internet. Many people condemned the picture, say do racism and disrespect black people.
Do racism.
You're being terribly insensitive. The picture way Tory people Time magazine release show say the Prime Minister dressed like black person, come use paint way make him face and hand brown like black pippo inside the 2001 yearbook. Mr. Trudeau, they contest her re-election on October 21, and this picture not embarrassing tin as Pippo bin no am for policies way they promote progression.
Oh my.
When them ask if him owed a time, day way that Kane tin don't happen, Mr. Trudeau tell Tory Pippo, say him also wear makeup when him be student when him perform one talent show for high school. Them don also post the picture of that time for Twitter.
Oh dear.
How Trudeau see the matter? The Prime Minister don't apologize for the picture. Mr. Trudeau tell Tory Pippo say nah, just costume him wear for the school gala party. Quote, I take responsibility for my decision to do wetin I do. No, I no supposed to am.
I was about to
that's
say.
not Canadian enough. Let's try it again. I suppose sapping you pass so. No be wetting I reason that time as racism, but now say wetting I do know racist. Something I day very sorry. Eh?
I was about to say that it's a shame they haven't translated his quote into the pigeon, but oh wait, they have.
Yes, they translate all the quotes into Pidgin, which seems a questionable approach to a quote person, but nevertheless, here we are.
Well, I was going to say, it is interesting to me that this is still a thing. You know, the whole pigeon BBC Pidgin, but it is also interesting to me that there are people who do in fact speak in Pidgin English.
I want to know how many there actually are.
I don't know, but
Because I've been
hmm,
a member of it. You
hmm,
are hypothetically a member. Gray
mhm.
is hypothetically a member of the UK. And as far as I'm aware, absolutely none of you have, previous to their exposure to bbc.com/pigeon, actually heard pigeon.
Well, you know, Ark, a bit of the UN's money goes to pay for the BBC, so you and I are both also paying for it because we live on Earth.
Extraordinary.
Well,
All I know is that I actually totally support some trivial measure of my tax money going to .com.
I was going to mention though, if anyone is looking for an example of someone who, in fact, speaks in what I would think would be Pidgin English, do feel free to look up the chap with the longest name in the world. I don't know if it is the longest name in the world, but the video is often referred to as chap with the longest name in the world. Would you like me to attempt to repeat his name?
Oh, this will be a nice little. By all means, go ahead.
All right. The name is Uvvwemwe Vwe Oyetwemwe Ve Umbwim Osas.
Well, it's no apple thrasher banger of Ulm, but it's pretty good.
So if you just type that exact name into Google, and I'm sure you'll find the video.
Good luck, everyone.
If you don't know how to spell it, don't ask me. I'm dyslexic.
How Trudeau see the matter, the Prime Minister Don apologized to the picture. Mr. Trudeau tell Tory people say not just costume him wear for his school gala party.
Oh, that's the point. I was supposed to be commenting on Trudeau, wasn't I?
Oh, I've already read those quotes, haven't I? How people reason didn't matter politically? Like blackface, brownface, not when person paint in face, dark to be like person, we get another skin color. Before, white actors they paint their face black to copy African Americans, and them bin they use, do some cane racist acts way they offend Pippo. Anti-Pippo
dear.
Don reacted to picture. One of them, now the executive director, National Council of Canadian Muslims, Mustafa Farouk, he talk say to see the minister with blackface, they very sad and he do something way no day acceptable. Him carry Pippo go back to how racism takes start.
Oh dear. I was going to add that it's going with your approaching things from the opposite kind of angle and seeing how they could be deconstructed for the purposes of an evil genius trying to deconstruct society. I think it's quite interesting that in the past it's been looked at as emulation being a form of flattery, whereas suddenly having at some point in the past attempted to emulate a person of a different skin color is now a terribly racist thing that nobody should ever do, and you'll be cast aside for ever having done it.
Oh yes, this harkens back to all the cultural appropriation. Always irked the hell out of me because appropriate culture. You can't steal culture. You can only emulate it, not steal it. But that's sort of drifting off topic.
Well, stealing implies that it's no longer where it was.
Yes, and that simply does not work when it comes to, say, a style of shirt.
Be like me drawing a copy of someone else's drawing and them saying, well, you've stolen my drawing.
IP not real, dab dab.
A contentious.
No, I haven't.
But
I haven't stolen your drawing. I've just drawn it again.
Yes, and certainly not in quite this way. your depiction of someone else's not quite the same. It couldn't be the same. We're starting to run out of time. In fact, strictly speaking, we are out of time, I suppose, the rest of the article. Meanwhile, this would be a great time to discuss any projects you have going. Again, Roman should have passed along all your relevant links to relevant chats, but perhaps you have some projects or things you would like to talk about?
Oh, fabulous. Well, let me see. As I'm sure you are aware from the introduction at the start of this, am Bad-Tempered Badger. I talk about things on the internet from time to time. I can be found on YouTube, BitChute, Twitter, Gab, Minds, and Pornhub, and my areas of interest vary greatly from current events and politics to religion, usually in the form of opposition to it. Fiction, science fiction is a particular interest, although some fantasy as well, and also I just like discussion, really. I like having discussions with people. My projects are, if you have a look at my YouTube channel, I'm currently doing story readings along with some collaborations with people.
I would also take this moment to stress that you are a fraud!
Oh, I am?
Yes. You
No.
present yourself as a bad-tempered badger, but I will put forth that you're actually quite reasonably tempered.
Oh dear, I've been found out.
That's fine. Don't worry, I don't have a huge following. Your secret's safe with us.
Oh, dear.
I am the angry Froman, and I've been told I'm like one of the nicest people on the internet.
Yeah,
You have Izu, Miss Steam, and Gray. Gray donated 3, Miss Steam and Izu donated 1 ice cream. So you've gotten a total of 5 ice creams.
Well, thank you all for your ice cream donations. Live. Okay, well, it's time to be wrapping things up. We're too scheduled, so here we go. First off, please do check out Bad-Tempered Badger's channels and encourage them in their efforts. Certainly, we could use more surreal perspectives out there, I feel. But I could be a bit biased, being a surreal perspective myself. Please also be aware that tomorrow will be another episode of Side Quest, hosted by one Arcturus, who, yes, it's me. I play the role of Arcturus on. I did want to again sort of keep that quiet, but then I realized the Galgamorskar put my name in the credits, and I can't deny it any further. So please be sure to do that. Also, be sure to tune in later on for the Dire Wolf news roundup. I see. I don't know, 3 to 4 hours or so.
Gray also donated an additional 8 lemons.
That's
8
a lot
whole
of
lemons?
I've got a lot of lemons now. I'm gonna make just a ton of citrus ice cream.
Like in total, Gray's probably sent you $1.25 in
lemons.
In D-Live currency.
Okay, so are these combustible lemons?
Well, maybe Steam's are.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
They find a way to ignite the money. Well, these donations are appreciated. I'm sure enough will get loot box thing. Meanwhile,
I can't see
otherwise,
how many
if you are
points it has in it.
a member of Direwolf Media, trying to support my presence on the Direwolf Media Network, please be sure to mention me to Direwolf whenever their way. Fine. Fine. Okay, we're done here. Thank you for being my guest, Bad-Tempered Badger. You have been sent this particular image here via Discord. That is yours to obviously put it on a t-shirt, use it as an avatar, make money with it, don't make money with it, forget you have it at all. I don't really care. It's your souvenir at this point. All I reserve is the right to display myself.
Thank you very much.
So,
Thank you very much for that, and thank you very much for having me on.
quite welcome. Well, probably have you on again some other time. Maybe, if you're not horrified at this. Anyhow.
No.
Meanwhile, until next time, ostensibly, progress continues.